Good morning everyone. Now I revise animal tissues. You already know all multicellular animals contain 4 types of tissues. Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, nervous tissue. Four types of tissues: epithelial, connective, muscular, nervous. We already discussed. So epithelial tissue, it is derived from any of the 3 cerebral layers. Means some epithelial tissues from ectoderm, some mesoderm, some endoderm. Connective tissue and muscular tissue developed from mesoderm. Nervous tissue derived from ectoderm. In epithelial tissue, matrix is less. Matrix is less in epithelial tissue. Cells are compactly arranged. In connective tissue, matrix is more. What is matrix? Ground substance. In a tissue, numerous cells are present. The cells secrete some substances. These substances are present between the cells. So that is intercellular substances. Matrix is known as ground substance or intercellular substances secreted by the cells present in that tissue. Matrix is absent in muscular and nervous tissue. No matrix. Matrix is absent. In epithelial tissue, matrix is less. In connective tissue, matrix is more. Now we discuss different types of epithelial tissue. So frequently asked question in PU exam, describe epithelial tissue with the help of neat label diagram. Epithelial tissue, epi means upon. Where it is present? Epithelial tissue is present on the surface of the body, form the lining of ducts, lining of cavities. Epithelial tissue. So all other tissues are present below the epithelial tissue only. Epithelial tissue. Characters of epithelial tissue. In epithelial tissue, cells are compactly arranged, closely arranged. One cell is connected to adjacent cell with the help of cell junctions. It is the cell junction. Cells are compactly arranged. That's why matrix is less. Epithelial tissue is of 2 types: simple epithelium, compound epithelium. Compound epithelium. Simple epithelium. They may ask, distinguish simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Distinguish between simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelium is unilaminar, means one layer, cells are arranged. Compound epithelium, multilaminar, means several layers. Simple definition. Multilaminar. Lamina means layers. Unilaminar. Unilaminar means cells are arranged in a single layer. In simple epithelium is unilaminar. Compound epithelium is multilaminar. You can write like that, or in simple words. If cells are arranged in a single layer, it is known as simple epithelium. If cells are arranged more than one layer in epithelial tissue, it is known as compound epithelium. In simple epithelium, one side the cells are attached to basement membrane. One side attached to basement membrane. And another side has free surface. Another side has free surface. On one side the cells attaches to basement membrane, another side has free surface. In compound epithelium, only cells present in the inner layer attaches to basement membrane. Cells present in the outer layer only possess free surface. Cells present in the outer layer only possess free surface. Now we discuss types of, so one more point is characters of epithelial tissue. We already discussed, distinguish between simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Possible 2-mark question. Like that they may ask, distinguish between simple epithelium, compound epithelium, distinguish between tendon, ligament, distinguish between cardiac muscle, striated muscle, or examples. Name the organ or name the organ in which simple epithelium is, simple squamous epithelium is present, or give an example for cuboidal epithelium, give an example for ciliated epithelium. So like that they may frame the questions. So now characters of simple epithelium, characters of epithelial tissue. Cells are compactly arranged. If cells are arranged in a single layer, simple epithelium, in simple epithelium, one side of the cells attaches to basement membrane, another side has free surface. Epithelial tissue is avascular. Avascular tissue. A means no, vascular means blood vessel. Blood vessels absent in epithelial tissue. If blood vessels absent in epithelial tissue, how it survive? So it depends upon connective tissue for its nourishment. Connective tissue contains numerous blood capillaries. The nutrients diffuses from the blood capillaries, diffuses into epithelial tissue. So in this manner, epithelial tissue depends upon connective tissue for its nutrients. Now we discuss simple epithelium. Sometimes they may ask, write a short note on simple epithelium for 3 marks question. Simple epithelium, depending upon the shape of the cell, simple epithelium is of 3 types. So 3 marks question is explain simple epithelium. Simple epithelium, depending upon the shape of the cells, 3 types: simple squamous epithelium, simple cuboidal epithelium, simple columnar epithelium. Why it is known as simple epithelium? If the cells are arranged in a single layer, known as simple epithelium. In simple epithelium, it is of 3 types: simple squamous. In simple squamous, cells are flattened. The cells are flattened like tile. How tile is present like a flattened cells. So in simple squamous epithelium, so what is simple squamous epithelium? Only for 3 marks, 4 to 5 lines you have to write. First you write simple epithelium. If cells are arranged in a single layer, it is known as simple epithelium. Second point, depending upon the shape of the cells, simple epithelium is of 3 types: simple squamous, simple cuboidal, simple columnar. Next point, if flattened cells are arranged in a single layer, it is known as simple squamous epithelium. If cube-like cells are arranged in a single layer, it is known as simple cuboidal epithelium. What is cube? Cube means all the 3 dimensions are equal. Length, width and height are equal, known as cube. If columns or pillars, so you already know pillar. So it is a pillar. Pillars are, means if the cells are longer than width, they are known as pillar shape. If pillar-like cells are arranged in a single layer, or simple definition, if the cell have more length when compared to width, such cells are arranged in a single layer, it is known as simple columnar epithelium. Or if pillar-like cells are arranged in a single layer, it is known as simple columnar epithelium. Example for simple squamous epithelium: simple squamous epithelium form the lining of blood vessels. It is the blood vessel. Inner surface of blood vessel lined by simple squamous epithelium. The simple squamous epithelium form the inner lining of blood vessel is known as endothelium. If you mention endothelium, no need to mention inner lining of blood vessel. The simple squamous epithelium form the inner lining of blood vessel is known as endothelium. Or you mentioned example endothelium. Air sacs in lungs, air sacs also known as alveoli, and Bowman's capsule, anterior part of the nephron, Bowman's capsule. Bowman capsule also lined by simple squamous epithelium, like this. Outer layer, inner layer, double-walled Bowman capsule. Examples: shape of the nucleus, oval-shaped nucleus. Okay, simple squamous epithelium. If the cells are flattened like tiles, it is known as simple squamous epithelium. Free surface contain wavy margins. Wavy margins. Free surface of cells have wavy margin. Oval-shaped nucleus present at the center. So example, lining of blood vessels, or you may say endothelium. Alveoli, or you may say air sacs in lungs, Bowman capsule. Simple cuboidal epithelium. If cube-like cells are arranged in a single layer, simple cuboidal epithelium. Spherical shaped nucleus present at the center. Example, ducts of glands, tubular part of nephron, PCT, DCT. Distal convoluted tubule, proximal convoluted tubule. So, simple cuboidal epithelium present in PCT, DCT. The free surface of simple cuboidal epithelium of PCT contain several folds known as microvilli. Microvilli increase the surface area. So, the simple cuboidal epithelium, the free surface of simple cuboidal epithelium of DCT, distal convoluted tubule without microvilli. If pillar-like cells are arranged in a single layer known as simple columnar epithelium. If free surface contains cilia, it is known as simple ciliated columnar epithelium. Example, fallopian tubule, branchiole. If the free surface of columnar cells without cilia, known as non-ciliated columnar epithelium. Non-ciliated columnar epithelium. Example, stomach and intestine. Ciliated, simple ciliated epithelium. In simple ciliated epithelium, the cell is either columnar shape or cube-like cells. So, simple ciliated cuboidal epithelium, simple ciliated columnar epithelium present in fallopian tubule and branchiole. So, in examination you write only 5 to 6 points, for 3 marks question, depending upon the question. For 1 mark question, 1 word or 1 sentence. For 2 marks questions, 2 to 3 lines. For 3 marks question, 5 to 6 lines. For 5 marks question, 20 lines maximum. So, this is about simple epithelium. So, function, or sometimes they may ask, write the function of simple squamous epithelium, diffusion. Function of simple cuboidal and simple columnar, secretion, absorption. Secretion and absorption. The surrounding substances enter into the tissue, that is secretion, through simple cuboidal, simple columnar, or absorption. The substances present, for example, it is a duct lined by columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium. From the secretion, from the duct, from the columnar epithelial cells enter into surrounding tissue, that is absorption. So, function of simple cuboidal and simple columnar, absorption and secretion. Function of simple squamous epithelium, diffusion. From the Bowman capsule, so what happens from the blood capillaries, the substances diffuses into the lumina of Bowman capsule. Similarly, air sacs, alveoli, from the alveoli gases, oxygen diffuses into the blood capillary, carbon dioxide from the blood vessels diffuses into alveoli, diffusion. Compound epithelium. In a epithelial tissue, cells are arranged more than one layer, compound epithelium. Compound epithelium. In epithelial tissue, cells are arranged more than one layer known as compound epithelium. Another name of compound epithelium, stratified epithelium. Strata means layers. Okay, the classification of compound epithelium depends upon shape of cell present in the outer layer. So it is a compound epithelium. So cells are arranged in several layers, so stratified. Outer layers contain flattened, that's why squamous. And the squamous cells contain keratin material. That's why this compound tissue got the name stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. Stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. Location, dry surface of the skin. In the textbook given compound epithelium, cells are arranged in more than one layer, simply given examples. So you should know. In stratified squamous keratinized epithelium, cells are arranged in several layers. Outer layers or superficial layers contain flattened cells. So that's why it got the name stratified squamous epithelium. Nomenclature of compound epithelium based on shape of cells present in the outer layer. Shape of cells present in the outer layer. So due to presence of keratin, it is known as stratified squamous keratinized epithelium present in the dry surface of the skin. Another type of compound epithelium. Cells are arranged in several layers. Outer layer contain flattened cells and the flattened cells without keratin. So it is known as stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. It is present in moist places like buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus. Epithelium. So in transitional epithelium, in unstretched condition, cells are arranged in 4 to 5 layers. In stretched condition, cells are arranged in 2 or 3 layers. So where it is located in urinary bladder and ureter, whenever the urinary bladder filled with urine and more urine in the ureters at the time. So in unstretched condition, the outer layer contains circular cells. The circular cells become flattened and cells present in some layers slide over adjacent layer. So as a result, in stretched condition, cells are arranged in 2 or 3 layers. Unstretched condition, cells are arranged in 4 to 5 layers. What is the use? So whenever the urinary bladder and ureter filled with urine, at the time the layer slide over and accommodate some more urine. Transitional epithelium seen in urinary bladder and ureter. A shape of, so in computative, shape of cell present in the outer layer in unstretched condition in transitional epithelium, circular. Shape of cells present in the outer layer in stretched condition in transitional epithelium is flattened. So one more is ducts of pancreatic, ducts of salivary gland, ducts of pancreas. Cuboidal. Cells are cuboidal. Cuboidal cells are arranged in several layers. So it is known as stratified cuboidal epithelium present in ducts of pancreas, salivary, ducts of salivary glands. Ducts of salivary gland. So this is about compound epithelium. PU exam you write few points only. First point, in epithelial tissue cells are arranged more than one layer, it is known as compound epithelium. Nomenclature of compound epithelium depends upon shape of cells in the outer layer. So if the outer layer contains flattened cells, stratified squamous epithelium. If the outer layer contains cuboidal cells, stratified cuboidal epithelium. Stratified squamous keratinized epithelium present in dry surface of the skin. Stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium present in buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus. Stratified cuboidal epithelium present in ducts of pancreas, ducts of salivary gland. Compound epithelium. Now we discuss glandular epithelium. Glandular epithelium. Only cuboidal cells and columnar cells involved in the formation of glandular epithelium. Glandular epithelium, cuboidal cells and columnar cells. Glandular epithelium is of two types: unicellular glands, multicellular glands. Unicellular glands and multicellular glands. If a single cell acts as a gland, unicellular gland. Example, goblet cells. Between the normal cells, goblet cells are present. Unicellular gland, single cell act as a gland, unicellular gland. Example, goblet cell present in the alimentary canal. So they are scattered or they are isolated. It is not mean that two goblet cells are present side by side. In the mucosa, inner layer of the alimentary canal, numerous columnar cells are present. So between the cells of inner layer, goblet cells are arranged here and there. So the goblet cells secrete mucus. Multicellular glands. For example, it is the mucosa. These are the normal columnar cells. It is the goblet cell. It is the goblet cell. Goblet cells are isolated cells. They are not present side by side. Multicellular gland. So glandular epithelium is formed from the simple epithelium only. It is a simple cuboidal epithelium. It is a simple columnar epithelium. Simple cuboidal or simple columnar epithelium undergo invagination. Invagination means fold inwards. Invagination, fold inwards. Due to invagination, multicellular gland is formed. Multicellular gland. After formation, if it maintain connection to the surface, it is known as exocrine gland. After formation, it lost the connection to the surface, endocrine gland. Endocrine gland. So here possible question, Multicellular glands are formed from either simple cuboidal epithelium or simple columnar epithelium. How multicellular gland is formed? Due to invagination. Invagination means fold inwards. Fold inwards. Invagination, fold inwards. For example, we assume it is the tissue. Fold inwards. Fold outwards. Fold outwards is invagination. Fold inwards is invagination. Due to invagination, multicellular gland is formed. Due to invagination of simple cuboidal or simple columnar epithelium, multicellular gland is formed. After formation, the multicellular gland maintain connection to the surface known as endocrine gland. After formation, the multicellular gland lost the connection to the surface known as endocrine gland. Here another possible question, distinguish between endocrine gland and exocrine gland. Exo mean outside, crine mean gland. So you may simple definition, exocrine glands have ducts, endocrine glands are without ducts. Or another answer, exocrine glands through ducts release the secretion to the target organ. Endocrine glands release the secretion on the target organ through blood. Exocrine gland secretion, wax, sweat, milk. Similarly, endocrine gland, digestive enzymes also, exocrine gland secretions only. So the glands have ducts come under exocrine gland. Endocrine gland, so ductless gland. The secretion of endocrine glands known as hormone. So here possible question, distinguish between exocrine gland and endocrine gland. So the multicellular gland with duct, exocrine gland. Multicellular gland without duct, endocrine gland. So here another possible question for 5 marks. Explain various types of epithelium with label diagram. So you have to explain simple epithelium 3 types, compound epithelium 1 or 2 types, glandular epithelium, exocrine gland, endocrine gland. So this is about epithelium. Next one is connective tissue. The tissue which connect various tissues and various organs known as connective tissue. Connective tissue is developed from mesoderm. Depending upon the matrix, connective tissue classified into loose connective tissue, skeletal tissue, fluid tissue. Connective tissue proper, skeletal tissue, fluid tissue. Connective tissue proper into 2 types, loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue. Dense connective tissue. The tissue which connect various tissues and various organs, connective tissue. Depending upon the nature of matrix, connective tissue classified into 3 types, connective tissue proper, skeletal tissue, fluid tissue. Connective tissue proper, The connective tissue with less rigid matrix. Less rigid matrix known as connective tissue proper. Less rigid means hard, less hard. So matrix is not rigid. That's why some region contain more matrix, some region contain less matrix. Skeletal tissue. Matrix is semi-rigid or rigid, partially hard or hard. Skeletal tissue. Fluid tissue. Liquid act as a matrix. If liquid act as a matrix, it is known as fluid tissue. Example, blood and lymph. Skeletal tissue, cartilage and bone. Matrix is semi-rigid, partially rigid in cartilage. Matrix is rigid, hard in bone. So, connective tissue, classification of connective tissue based on nature of matrix. What is matrix? Ground substance or the substances secreted by the cells present in the same tissue. Three types: connective tissue proper, skeletal tissue, fluid tissue. The connective tissue has less rigid matrix included in connective tissue proper, considered as connective tissue proper. Connective tissue with semi-rigid or rigid, and at the same time it acts as a endoskeleton. The hard part present within the body and protect the inner delicate parts is known as endoskeleton. Or another definition also, the connective tissue with less rigid matrix is known as connective tissue proper. The connective tissue act as endoskeleton is known as skeletal tissue. What is endoskeleton? The hard part present within the body and it protects the inner delicate parts known as skeletal. So skeletal tissue again classified into two types: cartilage and bone. Cartilage has semi-rigid matrix, partially rigid. Semi-rigid matrix. Bone has a rigid matrix, rigid, hard. Fluid tissue. If liquid act as a matrix, known as fluid tissue. Example, blood and lymph. Connective tissue proper, further classified into loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue. So in examination PU they may ask, distinguish between loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue. The connective tissue proper in which cells and matrix more, loose connective tissue. The connective tissue proper in which fibers are more, known as dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue again classified into loose connective tissue classified into areolar, adipose, reticular connective tissue. Dense connective tissue classified into dense regular, dense irregular. Dense regular, dense irregular. Areolar, adipose, reticular. Example for loose connective tissue. Dense regular, dense irregular. That means two types of dense connective tissue, dense regular and dense irregular. So here also another possible question, distinguish between dense regular, dense irregular. In a dense connective tissue, fibers are present parallelly, known as a dense regular connective tissue. In dense connective tissue, fibers are arranged in different directions, known as a dense irregular connective tissue. So here areolar tissue. Now we discuss different types of loose connective tissue. Areolar, adipose, reticular. Areolar, adipose given in the textbook. For PU, Reticular connective tissue not given, only for competitive part, areolar. Or sometimes they may ask for 3 marks or 5 marks also, describe areolar connective tissue. For 3 marks they may give adipose tissue. Now we discuss areolar. Areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue. We already discussed the connective tissue derived from mesoderm. What is the main function of connective tissue? It connects one tissue to another tissue, or one organ to another organ, tissue to organ. So it connects tissue to tissue or organ to organ, tissue to organ. The main function of connective tissue performed by areolar connective tissue. The main function of connective tissue performed by areolar connective tissue. It is present all over the body. It is present just below the skin, all over the body. Areolar connective tissue. So it connects one tissue to another tissue, organ to another organ. That's why areolar connective tissue commonly known as packing material. 3 types of fibers, 5 types of cells present in the matrix. So they may ask, write a short note on areolar connective tissue. The abundant connective tissue present in our body is areolar connective tissue. Actually it connects one tissue to another tissue, one organ to another organ. In the matrix, 3 types of fibers, 5 types of cells are present. Collagen fibers, elastin fibers, reticular fibers are present. You already know collagen fibers are in wavy nature, Collagen fibers are always occur in the form of bundle. Elastin fiber occur singly. Reticular fibers occur singly. Elastin and reticular fibers are branched. Collagen fibers are unbranched. The branches arising from one reticular fiber connected to branches arising from the adjacent reticular fiber. The branches of elastin fiber may or may not connected to adjacent elastin fiber. Next one, types of cells. 5 types of cells. Mast cells, plasma cells, macrophages, fibroblasts, adipocytes are present in the matrix. Fibroblasts are elongated branched cells. They produce fibers. To produce collagen fiber, one type of fibroblast. One type of fibroblast produce collagen fiber bundles. One type of fibroblast produce elastin fiber. One type of fibroblast produce reticular fiber. In this manner, 3 types of fibroblast present in the matrix. Mast cells. Mast cells are nothing but basophils present in connective tissue. Basophils are blood cells. Why blood cells present in the connective tissue? All WBC escape from the blood vessel, enter into various tissues. So this process is known as diapedesis. All WBC exhibit diapedesis. All WBC exhibit diapedesis. What is diapedesis? The WBC escape from the wall of blood vessel, enter into various tissues known as diapedesis. So mast cells are nothing but basophils present in the connective tissue. So we already discussed in detail. For PU, no need to mention each and every point. Mast cells, if the tissue is injured or infected, mast cells release amines. These amines responsible for inflammation of the tissue. Adipocytes. Adipocytes are the cells store the fat. Next one, plasma cells. B lymphocytes undergo division. As a result, plasma cells are formed. Plasma cells produce antibodies. Macrophages. Macrophages are nothing but monocytes present in the connective tissue. They are phagocytic in function. They engulf the bacteria, virus, pathogen. Phago, eating. Cyte means cell, cell eating. Phagocytic in nature. So you write only 8 to 9 points. Aerular connective tissue, abundant connective tissue in our body, aerular connective tissue. So it is also known as packing material. Next point, matrix contains 3 types of fibers, 5 types of cells. You write each point, 1 point for one type of fiber and 1 point for each cell, 8 points over. So collagen fibers. The collagen fibers also known as white fibers, and these fibers have wavy nature. They are present like a wave. Collagen fibers always occur in the form of bundles. Elastin fibers occur singly, they are branched. Reticular fibers also made up of collagen protein. They occur singly. The branches arising from one reticular fiber connected to branches arising from adjacent reticular fiber. Network-like structure is formed. 5 types of cells. Monocytes present in the connective tissue, macrophages. Basophils present in the connective tissue, mast cells. Mast cells release amines. Fibroblast, elongated branched cells present in the matrix, fibroblast. Fibroblast produce the fibers. Adipocytes, fat storing cells known as adipocytes. Next one is plasma cells. B lymphocytes undergo division. Plasma cells are formed. Plasma cells produce antibodies. So this is about aerular connective tissue. Next one, adipose connective tissue. Adipose connective tissue. Adipose tissue. Adipose tissue is one type of loose connective tissue. The adipocytes are protected by or supported by collagen fiber bundles. Adipose tissue is of two types: white adipose tissue, brown adipose tissue. In white adipose tissue, each adipocyte contains one fat droplet. In brown adipose tissue, fat is in the form of several droplets. White adipose tissue is a long-term energy reserve. Brown adipose tissue present in fetus and infant. The brown adipose tissue easily oxidized. As a result, energy is released. By utilizing this energy, heat energy, the fetus and infant maintain constant body temperature. White adipose tissue, long-term energy reserve. So, for examination, you may write adipose tissue. Adipose tissue is one type of loose connective tissue. Second point, in adipose tissue, only one type of cells present in the matrix, adipocytes. Adipocytes are supported by collagen fiber bundles. Adipose tissue contain reserve food material in the form of fat. If you want, adipose tissue present in animals or in human being also in the palm and sole act as a shock absorber. Adipose tissue is of two types: white adipose tissue, brown adipose tissue. In white adipose tissue, each adipocyte contains fat in the form of only one droplet. But in brown adipose tissue, fat is in the form of many droplets. Numerous blood capillaries present, that's why it appears in brown color. Due to presence of less number of blood capillaries, it appears in white color. White adipose tissue present in children, adult. Brown adipose tissue present only in fetus and infant. Infant means up to 4 years only. Up to 4 years infant and fetus. Fetus is the developmental stage. In case of human, the developmental stage from 3rd month before delivery is known as fetus. Fetus and infant contain brown adipose tissue. White adipose tissue is not undergo oxidation easily. Brown adipose tissue oxidized easily. As a result, due to oxidation of brown adipose tissue, heat energy is released. By utilizing this heat energy, the fetus and infant maintain constant body temperature. Okay, in the next class, I revise the remaining part of animal tissues.